Stop scrolling. Pause for a breath. This message is not a general broadcast. It is a precise transmission. If these words land in your chest like a compact weight, if the air around your ribcage tightens and something in you recognizes an answering frequency, listen. If this finds you, you've shifted reality. You already know what I am about to say because you have been feeling it. A quiet pressure that never quite leaves you, cycles of delay that returned like a clock wound to test you, an uncanny sense of being watched by something not hostile but exacting, an intuition so tuned it feels almost unfair. You have endured choices that no one applauded. You have kept your integrity when everything in you wanted to fold. These are not accidents. You were located. A higher mechanism, impersonal, patient, precise, found you and ran measurements. This moment is the result. That recognition is not for boasting, it is a confirmation, and confirmation needs a careful response. If this message is touching you in that particular way, mark the moment. Like, subscribe, and comment 99 if you feel called to make a simple symbolic seal of readiness. It's a gesture, not a rite, optional. No one is required to prove anything. That seal simply places a tiny public anchor under what is already happening within. For months, perhaps years, you lived inside a testing field. The same patterns returned, relationships that looped back to the same unresolved place, opportunities that stalled at the last hinge, promises dissolved for no visible reason. Those repetitions were not punishment, they were calibration. Each delay was a question, can you hold the line without applause? Each recurrence was an instrument measuring steadiness. The tests did not ask you to be heroic, they asked you to be available to bearing weight without seeking reward. You learned endurance in a way that did not invite spectators. You acted morally when no one watched. Small mercies, private kindnesses, the refusal to cut corners when it cost you, those were the quiet proofs. Endurance showed up as the small, steady yes you gave to life, even when the world refused to answer. That pattern, keeping your integrity under pressure, became a baseline reading for the mechanism observing you. It is why you were singled out. You are reliable in the specific, messy ways that matter to systems that calibrate souls. Alongside calibration came filtration. People left, doors closed. Your world contracted until only the essentials could be carried forward. This was not exile, it was a strategic clearing. Those connections that could not make the new rhythm were gently removed from your path so that the core of you could be more visible. Isolation is not condemnation, it is surgical. In the silence, your intuition sharpened. The inner voice that before felt like a rumor became a tool, precise, immediate, and sometimes brutally honest.
You know this sharpening by its effects, spontaneous knowing about a person's intent, a sudden clarity about which door to close, warnings that arrive as a chill in your gut before danger manifests. You also know it by the loneliness it imposes, because refined instruments are not always comfortable companions. But the solitude forced a clarity you didn't have when the world was loud. It taught you how to listen to smaller signals, how to read the subtext of human movement, how to be guided by the hush rather than the clamor. Then the rupture came. You felt it as falling without an obvious drop, an emptiness where support had been, a collapse of a structure you had leaned on for identity or survival. It felt like defeat, it felt like loss. It may have looked like panic or disintegration. I will say this plainly, that collapse was necessary. It did not mean you failed. It meant the old geometry of your life could no longer hold the weight destined for you. The break was the doorway. Painful, yes. Preserving you for the next shape, also yes. After the break, something shifts from observation to activation. You are no longer only a subject of measurement. You become an actor with assignment. But activation is not a gift of comfort. It is a call to responsibility. The system that found you does not promise applause or ease. It asks endurance, discretion, service. Activation will demand that you carry steadiness in contexts that will not understand you, that you make decisions based on a clarity others lack, and that you accept accountability for small, consequential acts. That is what this transmission is, a map for walking forward. Call it practical metaphysics. Call it a manual of inner priorities. I am offering you 7 focus points, concise orienting priorities that translate the abstract shift you have experienced into steady directions. Think of them as operational, not commandments, but practices to hold. Each point ties back to the tests you endured, the filtration you experienced, the sharpening of your sense, the rupture you survived, and the responsibility now placed before you. Focus point 1. Recognize the targeting. This was not random. Accept the confirmation without grandiosity. A mechanism located you because of a particular configuration of restraint, curiosity, and moral steadiness. To recognize this is not to inflate your ego. It is to acknowledge that your life has been responding to a call that predates personal preference. You were observed because you can bear weight in a way others cannot. The operative practice: pause and say, "I was found." Reflection prompt: can you name one moment when a repeated difficulty felt less like misfortune and more like a test of steadiness? Focus point 2. Reframe pressure as forging. The tightness you felt in your chest, the relentless low hum at the back of your awareness, that pressure was not punishment. Pressure is a furnace. It compresses, realigns, and hardens capacity.
When you change the story from "why me" to "what is this forming," you step from reactive suffering into deliberate refinement. This does not make pain desirable, it makes it intelligible. The operative practice: speak to the pressure as an ally in private, not as an enemy. Reflection prompt: when has a pressure in your life produced a clarity or muscle you can now rely on? Focus point 3. Track recurring cycles as calibration. Delays and loops are not merely unlucky repeats. They are signals, timestamps of calibration. Patterns highlight where your nervous system, your decisions, or your loyalties need adjustment. Track them without self-condemnation. Catalog them. Name the recurring themes and where they draw your energy. Calibration expects feedback. Your attention is the most honest return. The operative practice: keep a short log of recurring triggers for 30 days and note what steadiness feels like in those moments. Reflection prompt: what is the single pattern that repeats in your life, and what question is it asking you to answer differently? Focus point 4. Honor and refine intuition. Your inner knowing is not mystical luck. It is a refined instrument developed under pressure and isolation. It needs discipline. Feed it with quiet work, moments of stillness, disciplined listening, tests you can measure. Treat your intuition like a language to be practiced. Simple, daily exercises that build trust between feeling and action. The operative practice: each morning give yourself 3 minutes of silent query. Ask one small question and note what arises without judgment. Reflection prompt: what did your intuition warn you about that later proved true, and how did you respond? Focus point 5. Embrace strategic isolation. The narrowing of your world was not a sentence, but a tool. Use this solitude as a laboratory for clarity. Isolation gives you the bandwidth to metabolize calibration and to form decisions uncolored by urgent social pressures. But protect it from resentment. Choose your solitude as a workspace, not as exile. The operative practice: establish a weekly period of deliberate solitude. No social inputs, a simple task, and a listening posture. Reflection prompt: where in your life can you create space that is intentionally free from external expectations? Focus point 6. Reinterpret the rupture as doorway. Allow grief. Name the losses. The rupture demanded mourning, not denial. After mourning, look for the apertures it reveals. Rupture clears dead architecture so that new structure can be built. The task is not to minimize pain, but to refuse to remain inside it. The operative practice: write a short letter to what you lost, then fold it away and list one new possibility the loss made room for. Reflection prompt: what was stripped away and what small new thing has room now to take root? Focus point 7. Commit to responsibility, service over comfort. Activation is less about privilege and more about steady usefulness. You will be measured by modest acts, consistency, discretion, the daily choices that keep a larger system balanced. This commitment is not heroic theater. It is a quiet stewardship, showing up, keeping agreements, choosing the harder honesty when easy lies would be loud. The operative practice: pick one small, reliable action you will do for the next 90 days that serves someone or something beyond immediate personal gain. Reflection prompt: what daily act can you commit to that proves you can carry responsibility without fanfare? These 7 points are a compact practice set. They are not a guarantee of external reward, nor are they a badge of superiority. They are a way to hold the reality you have shifted into. Every focus point returns you to the same criteria that located you in the first place: steadiness under pressure, sharpened sensing, disciplined solitude, moral consistency, and the courage to move forward after collapse. Hold them as a framework, not ideology. You will be tempted to test these ideas by looking outward, seeking confirmation from alliances, followers, or applause. Do not mistake external noise for true evidence. Measurement now is quieter, a steadier breath, a clearer inner yes, service that asks less of your image and more of your refusal to bend principle. The system that observed you cares about capacity, not spectacle. You are asked to calibrate your life to usefulness. Remember that being located by a higher mechanism creates obligation. There is a moral economy here that rewards integrity and punishes spectacle. Use your attunement to make choices that can serve what matters: clarity of intention, fidelity to truth as you perceive it, and an ethic of humility. Humility does not erase certainty. It refuses the theatrics of righteousness. Carry conviction without posture. You will also encounter misunderstanding. When people cannot read you, they will default to suspicion or projection. That is their burden, not yours. Expect the world to misname you. Expect invitations to return to old patterns. Expect offers that glitter with safety but ask for your surrender. Your task is to hold the line and to choose what aligns with the 7 focus points rather than what temporarily eases the pressure. There will be moments that feel like acceleration. Doors will open without your asking. Relationships will come that match your steadiness. Opportunities will align with the rhythm you have been forming. When these moments arrive, steward them carefully. Test them against the framework. Are they asking you to trade integrity for comfort? Do they lean into your sharpening or blunt it? Use the focus points as your measuring stick. And know this, the 7 are symbolic threshold. They represent completion in the sense of a readiness to move from observation into deliberate operations. They are not a secret club, a guarantee, or a magical charm. They are a map. You must still walk the ground. The work of integration is slow. The activation will require seasons of small, daily fidelity as much as it will require decisive reckoning. If grief remains raw, seek integration practices. If you feel fragmented or unsafe, consider support from clinicians grounded in ethics and care. This transmission is a spiritual psychic orientation, not a substitute for professional help. Responsibility includes protecting your functioning and knowing when to call for professional integration work. Now anchor this with a symbolic act if you wish. If this finds you and you feel the weight of recognition, you may mark the moment externally. Like, subscribe, and comment 99 as a simple seal of readiness. Again, this is symbolic and optional. The real seal is the steadiness you choose to live into. Before we close, return one more time to the rupture. Name it, mourn it. Then place your palm on the space it left and speak, "I will build differently." That is the vow of activation, not a promise of comfort, but an acceptance of responsibility. You will be called to difficult clarity. You will be asked to make choices that sustain a balance larger than your comfort. That is the weight you were prepared to carry. Write one sentence in your journal now. The rupture that changed me was, and the single action I will take this week is. Keep it private or share it with a trusted friend. Use it as a small anchor for the coming work. This is not an ending, but an orientation. If this finds you, you've shifted reality. This is the simple truth. It asks for nothing less than steady integration, slow and uncompromising. Walk forward with the 7 sevens points in your pocket. Recognize the targeting. Reframe pressure as forging. Track cycles as calibration. Honor intuition. Embrace strategic isolation. Reinterpret rupture as doorway. Commit to responsibility. There will be weight. There will also be confusion. There will also be clarity in the small choices you make each day. Keep compassion for yourself close. Keep your standards close as well. Let your actions be the quiet testimony to the calibration that found you. If this transmission has landed with you and you want to continue with materials that help you hold these practices, guided prompts, short exercises, a community of steady people, subscribe and return. For now, write that single sentence in your journal. Name the rupture and name the first tiny step. If you chose earlier to place the small symbolic seal, know that the true seal is the work you do afterward. You were located for a reason. You are rare, not because you are better, but because you have been found fit for burden. Meet that burden with discipline and compassion. The world you have shifted into asks for good stewardship, and you are being prepared to provide it.